Okay, this is the 8-month update on the Anoxic Filtration, and I'm going to clarify the timeline because we set the aquarium up with water in it, running the Anoxic Filtration, the biocinosis clarification baskets, at the end of February. So February 26th, which is our anniversary, is kind of a present to ourselves. But that's when we set it up, and we let it season for a couple of months before we introduced fish to it. And so the discus behind me have the first batch, the first 4 that we acquired are going into this is their 6-month mark, basically. And so the Anoxic Filtration, 8 months, introduced fish 2 months in, and then we got our next group of 3 discus a month later. And then now I'm pleased to introduce our babies. So excited. Well, they're not our babies, but they're our newbies. And here's Viper coming right up front to say hello. Viper is a red snakeskin, and if he would turn, you'd see how stunning he really is. Here he goes. It looks like he has a foil background with that beautiful snakeskin pattern. He's like Harry, he's emo. His stripes come and go. When he doesn't have his stripes, he's just stunning. Just a little foiled jewel. I think you can see his colors there a bit. And there's my baby Harry. And then here's a little tiny striated turquoise, who we call Turkish. I know we're not very inventive when it comes to these names, but I ran out of Moulin Rouge characters. And behind him is a little tiny cobalt. And again, got lazy. We just call him Kobe. Hi, Kobe. But you can see the size compared to our original. Those are some little guys. Except for Viper, he is just growing at an incredible pace. He is a little piggy, and we've had an issue with him overeating. Here he is. But he's just growing so fast and furiously. He's almost the size of our original guys. So the original 4 were Marley, Clown Toulouse, Little Stunt Blue Diamond Satine, and then my guy Harry, the leopard, if he would turn. He is very pretty. And then the 3 that we acquired a month after them are the white albino diamond, Chris, the blue checkerboard, he's Duke, our big boy, and then Roxy, the cross, the wild Quipea alencore cross, the red ninja. And if you compare this video to when we first introduced Roxy, she was near death when we first got her. It is really amazing how these fish are so resilient, and they will pull out of anything. You know, transport and the other stresses of being shipped overnight. In her case, there were some pretty extreme temperatures, and she's just colored up and turned into such a beauty. Hi, Harry. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the health issues that we've encountered and what we did. I'm sorry, Roland, for your loss. Roland, another YouTuber who recently lost discus. I know that's got to be heartbreaking. And we feel very fortunate that we've not had any losses. We have come close, and I will explain how in a minute. But these discus, now at a number of 10, have all come from the same breeder, Jack Wattley Discus. And we were very sad to hear of his passing earlier this month. The man truly was a pioneer in the hobby. He started some amazing lines, and we feel very fortunate that we have some of these amazing fish, and that we've not experienced any loss. Gabe, who's taken over for Jack Wattley in recent decades, has done such an amazing job. He offers the best customer service I've ever encountered, and very knowledgeable, very helpful. He's helped me, he's texted me on Sundays to help me through health issues with the fish, and I just can't say enough nice things about Gabe Posada. He's very knowledgeable, and highly recommend doing business with Jack Wattley Discus. These guys, you know, some might say that they're not a show quality discus, but we weren't looking for show quality discus. We were looking for healthy discus. And these guys have proven to be so incredibly hardy, resilient, personality filled, friendly. They love to be hand fed. They, I swear, if they were dogs, I'd say they love to be pet. You know, yeah, we see some imperfections, little to loose here. He's kind of peppered up. He's always been shaped a little funny, but we love that. Duke, he's got some peppering, but you're gonna see that with any of the pigeon bloods. Just healthy, hardy guys. Okay, now for the health scares. Toulouse, the little clown, was the first one to really freak us out. In fact, he's why we bought the hospital tank. He clearly overate one day. We didn't know that was the situation at the time. We guessed that might be it. But he was very labored with his breathing. He was in a headstand, downward position. Looked like he was huffing and puffing. He was so distended. His belly was bloated. He would regurgitate. We would see him throw up a little bit, and we thought that that was a good thing, that if he had overeaten, at least he was getting it out. Anyway, we panicked. I texted Gabe, and he told me how to treat him, do a Epsom Salt Dip. And so we set up the hospital tank with Epsom salts and monitored him closely. Took all day, basically. Got him in the hospital tank, and probably 6-7 hours later, he finally took care of his business. And you can see he likes to rat around on the bottom. I mean, he will pick up anything and eat it. And he used to be smaller than little Satine here, but he's just eaten himself into a big boy. So that was our first scare. And then little Roxy, our red ninja. Like I said, if you look at our earlier video where we first introduced her, she was dusty, she was kind of gray looking, very antisocial. We had experienced that a little bit with Harry when he first came home. We just chalked it up to the stress of transport. And she did snap out of that. But then, probably 30 days later, she started developing the little velvet patches that you'll sometimes see on the fish. And started looking dusty again. And so got a little bit listless, wasn't eating like she was. So we did a Paragard dip with her, along with some Epsom salt, because we feel like the salt can't hurt anything. And she bounced back. She came out of that. All signs of that velvet, or the white cottony spots, all gone. She has not returned. And then little Viper, my favorite little snake skin back here. He did what Toulouse did with the overeating, but he did it to such a degree that he was, you're hiding back there, Viper. He did it to such a degree that he was literally floating. He was floating on the surface of the tank. His stomach was so distended, he was so full that he could not swim. He would float up on the very top, up here by the weir, on the surface, and we basically said goodbye. We knew we weren't going to be able to save this fish. He was so far gone. But we did for him what we did for little Toulouse. We got a Epsom Salt Dip, and not only did we do the Epsom Salt Dip, but then when we returned him to the tank, we salted the entire tank. We didn't know if we were dealing with parasites or what have you, but he pulled out of it. We left that day to go fishing, and we basically said goodbye. He was floating on top when I left, and when we got back in the afternoon, he was fine. So these fish have scared us. We are very fortunate, like I said, that we've not lost any. I'm sorry to those that have. I can't even imagine. My heart would just be broken. But again, I'm going to credit the Jack Wattley Discus. These lines of fish are just so resilient, remarkably so. And as we all know, fish kind of inherently have parasites, they inherently have ick, all of that stuff kind of lays dormant. You add new fish to the tank, you run the risk. New plants, you run the risk of introducing all kinds of things. But I'm a firm believer in trying to treat as minimally as possible and let the fish's own immune system do its job. And these guys have proven that they will do just that. Oh, that's another thing about the Wattley Discus. They provide us with our cardinals, our rummy nose tetras. They have cory cats, our siamese algae eaters, our plecos. Seriously, I can't say enough good things about Wattley. The Anoxic Filtration, still going strong. And that's why I say we're at the 8-month mark with that. We've got the 14 baskets, 8 in this chamber, pre-filter with 4, 6 over here, 2 behind that. I know we look like a Seachem commercial. We love their products. These guys eat a pretty varied diet. We feed them, when we feed them flake, we feed them the Seachem flake. Also the prime reef, they like that. We feed them a little bit of krill, tube effects, bloodworm. We try to vary the diet. We'll soak the tube effects in the garlic guard. Yeah, this, we'll soak it in the garlic guard. They seem to love that. And then they love to eat the pleco wafers. You know, this is basically just filler for the bottom feeders. And they will fight over that, which you'll see in some B-roll that I filmed. Filmed the tank at night. I'll include in the video. And then my now 5-month-old experiment of a ram tank. I don't have the light on. Let's see. It's doing great. You can see this rotala, how it has just grown. Sorry for the glare. Rams, also got the rams from Wattley. We've got 6 rams, 4 German blues, 2 electric blues, pair of Siamese algae eaters, the crazy Cory twins, and pleco hiding somewhere. This is the tank that I did what I call the BCB tacos. They're underneath the plenum. And then of course the plants are planted in the same medium, the kitty litter and the laterite. And these plants, I'd have to say, look better than the plants in the big tank. So the lesson I've learned there is I need to do container plants in a discus tank. So we're very happy, all in all, very pleased. Fish have proven to be so hardy and healthy. They make us happy. I hope we make them happy. And, of course, since I said we started all this on our anniversary, February 26th, my 1-year goal is to find a 300-gallon tank and start a new discus tank. Hubby's over there shaking his head like, no. But, you know, they're like potato chips. Once you get started, you can't stop. So, we'll see. We're still, 4 months away from anniversary, so who knows? Who knows what we'll see at the 1-year mark. All I know is if we keep these guys growing the way that they are, compare this to the earlier videos, these guys have gotten huge. Yeah, we're discus fans. No sense in stopping now.